advanced sharing options. Good call.
Select all who can share all participants.
All participants. There we go.
Yeah, I got it now.
All right, cool.
I mean, so I showed you this picture, right? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Dude, that is superimposed. That's fake, right?
It's not. I mean, no, there's that picture, and then
Wow. Wow, that was incredible.
this one here, a beach in the mountains, right? That beach is at 10,000 feet. That's
The
crazy.
beach is at 10,000, so
That beach is at 10,000 feet. That water was very cold, I can confirm.
all right, drinkage or yeah, it's just wow.
Yeah. So I mean, come on. The
How
view.
did you find these places? Like just
Here's what happens. These clowns that I go with,
yeah.
they they rate me every year. So this would be the seventh group trip like this that I've organized,
They
and
rate you?
yeah,
RATE?
on a scale of 1 to 10. And so I feel a lot of pressure to up it every year.
Up what?
We're gonna have to go to Europe soon to beat.
Oh, you up the trip. Wow.
Yeah. So
Dude, that looks like fake. That's incredible.
yeah, this was their highest rated trip. So you know what? And I got all right, one story from the trip.
Yeah.
We climbed up what's called Haley's Pass. This is in Wyoming. It's called Circa the Towers. Those
Okay.
are the towers back there, obviously.
We love
And
the
you know, you
towers.
have to go between them over these passes, which are like almost 12,000 feet. And you're climbing up steep slopes that are just, rock that has crumbled. So it's a scree field. It's very difficult. And the day we went over Haley Pass, we had like 50-mile-an-hour gusts. It was a little treacherous. I was thinking I would not bring any one of my kids or my wife on this hike. So we got to
So to
yeah,
this picture right there, you
yeah,
still had that challenge ahead of you. Like
yes.
when
That's
you
why we're
looked behind you, were like, we're gonna smile now because this is an easy picture, but we still have to do that.
exactly. Yeah, this was before Haley Pass. I think we've done a different pass already, but the most difficult was still coming. So I mean, literally, this guy here on the very end in the dark blue shirt on the left, my friend Ryan, we're climbing up and a gust of wind came and it knocked me and I ended up stepping one foot on top of the other, which is not a good place to be when you're on like crumbled rocks in the wind. He grabs my pack and throws me back down onto the mountain so I didn't go for a tumble. It was bad. I
Wait,
mean, fun, but dangerous.
yeah. He threw you
So
onto a mountain so you wouldn't have to take a tumble.
so we got up to the top and we're like leaning back into the wind because you got a backpack on, it's like a sail and you're just getting pushed. And we're all just laughing our heads off at what we just experienced to get it because it was a 1,700-foot climb. And we got to the top. It was just so awesome. And I said to these guys, and I did not swear. So actually said this exactly. I don't care about your effing rating. Because it didn't matter at that point what they thought of the trip. I was enjoying myself so much. So
Listen, yeah, I have seen you in many positions of potential danger and you never back down from it. So like
it's
anything that happened here. So as I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the fact that Uncle Bob just joined our waiting room to come in and say hello. So let's do it.
yeah, I got a lot of my agenda. I don't know what you got, but I got a lot of my agenda for
Oh, listen, yeah, it's been a
probably bottom left video button.
Well, thanks, Tom.
yeah. Yeah, we just brought the whole sound crew in to, that was how you doing, Uncle Bob?
Well, some people have never been to Alaska. Some people have never eaten peanut butter and bananas. Some people have never been on a Zoom call.
Well,
How about it?
Have you you've never been on a Zoom call?
No.
That's
This
fantastic.
this is the first one I've ever done.
oh
So glad
man,
to be your first.
how honored are we? Like,
Mr. Step away from the technology is trying to get his act together here.
you're good. Listen, honestly, you're right in the middle of the screen. We hear you well. And I meant to ask you, Tom asked me, like, it's 8 o'clock Eastern here. Is it still 8 Eastern there, or are you an hour back, or how does Indiana work?
Yeah, we're about 12 hours different. No.
How was your night?
No, we're same as you,
All right.
Eastern. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Well, that,
Is part of Indiana central though? Or not?
Uh, two tiny little corners.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
you're right on the edge, so
yeah.
but it's
yeah,
still Eastern. Okay, well, we'll try not to keep you up too late then.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Don's in New York. I'm in Virginia.
yeah.
Yeah. Got the Northeast covered. Yeah. So,
We got it covered.
where to begin, right? So,
Well, yeah, you picked a good night because here I am. If it was tomorrow, I'd be doing my fantasy football draft. So
oh,
Ah,
all
nice.
I would
right.
have to say no.
Who's that with?
Uh, Gosh, it's a league that I've been in for 20. This is our 23rd year.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they tired of you winning every year?
Funny that you should say that. Wait. Oh crap! I don't have it. I'm actually back to back, dude, and I'm going
Oh,
for.
You're going for
Yeah,
a three-peat. This is
I
a
am going.
three-peat.
I'm going for
Woo!
the 3-peat. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
That's
Which is
that's impressive.
yeah,
They hate you. These guys you're with, they really hate you.
pretty hallowed ground.
They're not your friends.
They're
Yeah.
not your friends. No. Not your friends.
Yeah.
What's your
So,
secret? What's your secret sauce to this draft pick?
chill.
Chill.
Don't overdo it. Just
Yeah. I
don't
don't know
worry about it
anything.
too much.
Yeah. Just,
Okay.
oh, wait. What does a rookie mean?
So what I take from that, Don, he's not going to share. He's not giving us any details.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny because Amy was, as a school teacher, was in a pool every year, and it was winner, weekly winners and losers, and she was picking teams and never winning. And then she asked me to come in, and I was still with the Bills, and I came in and helped her, and I never won at all. Yeah, we lost every time, and then it went back to her, and she actually started winning again. So yeah, there's no,
That's
but
too good.
yeah,
I thought you were going to say she picked by alphabet or something.
it's uniform colors, alphabet, and it worked better than my so-called experience.
Right?
So good.
Yeah, but the last time I saw you was with when Ben and your friend came to Buffalo a few years ago, back whatever year that was, and
That's
yeah,
crazy. It's
I,
been that long?
yeah, whatever year that was. But we kept in touch and been missing you, and yeah, the book
No
came out.
Purdy reunions or anything?
Well,
Gosh,
they're in the works, maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All
Yeah,
right.
but Uncle Bob and I have talked kind of by text, by email, by phone a little bit, but
Yeah.
this is long overdue. And Tom, with the conversations we've been having about, kind of camp and how integral Uncle Bob was in your life, and I don't mean to get us on an accelerated path there, but
well,
here we are.
hang on a second. Let me help you set the mood here. Hold on.
Okay. Wait, you not only just set up Zoom, but now you're
Wait.
doing different things with it.
Yeah, well,
Oh yeah.
Oh, zooming up to the.
in our lake house growing up.
Oh wow! Now,
Oh,
is that a photo or a?
It's a painting. It's a self-portrait. The guy that painted it is the guy in the canoe.
Really?
Yes, F. Sands Brunner. He did a lot of camp paintings.
That's quite.
It's an heirloom.
Nice choice.
Yeah.
Before you joined, I was showing Don pictures of my backpacking trip last week, but that picture reminds me of trips I made to Algonquin Park in Canada.
Yeah.
Where we did extreme canoe trips, like 60 miles in 4 days. That is beautiful. That's pretty much what it looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Algonquin is pretty low in Canada, so it's not that far above like New York State Adirondacks.
Yeah, like you said when you just joined us, like where to begin, and as personnel director at camp, just to throw you in the deep end here. I had a lot of conversations in the construction of the book with Uncle Doug Schoen, and for all of the heavy lifting of running the music staff, there were a couple of years that he was also personnel director, and he wrote me a few paragraphs about. He's like, it was the hardest job, and he goes, I cannot. When I think about it, I was like, how did I ever get through a summer doing it? And yeah, I just, for all the talk that we've had about camp, you were personnel director, and in the book, your name came up so often, and it was almost for people in their stories just effortless the way that your name came up because you were either putting out fires or you were hiring people, and man, I would just love to kind of go back and ask you, first of all, hiring. What a hard job. And how did a guy like Tom Orser slip through the cracks to
That is such a great question. I'd like to hear that one. And I mean, being serious, Don, you're hiring people with zero experience, no way to vet them for, like they say, hiring people, the best indicator of future behavior is prior behavior. They have no prior experience.
Right.
Anyway.
My problem is, and especially living here in Buffalo for years, I've had people tell me, hey, you're from the Adirondacks, and our family's going up there, and we're going to be there for August or July or whatever, and we're going to this lake or that mountain, and you must know it. And they say it, and I don't know it because my experience. Yeah, listen, it's Becky. I did because I live there. It's like
Right.
Speculator, Lake Pleasant, Paseco Wells, and we never had to go anywhere else. Like we never had to.
Why would you?
Right. And so when they say, with all these lakes, we did the tour of the 30, 40 lakes. I'm like, I didn't need to. Like it was right there where we grew up. So I'm sorry, I disappointed you, but yeah. But yeah. Speaking of which, like,
how about if we start off by saying there was a lot of prayer involved?
That's a good thing.
I knew that was going to be part of the secret sauce.
That's a good thing. Yes.
That's not an out. That's not a safe.
Wait a second. Is that how you do your football draft?
Nice try.
Okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, with two hands. Oh my. Yeah, that was an interesting journey, man. That whole hiring thing.
Yeah.
Because I really hadn't done anything like that before.
Yeah.
In anything that I had done, and I'd had a few pretty cool experiences up to that time. Well, okay, so I come back from Hong Kong. Okay.
Same old story.
No. Let's back up the truck. Let's back up.
I'm just thinking, Don and I can't say that.
Yeah, right.
I had 2 stints of doing personnel. I did personnel fresh out of Wheaton.
Okay.
I don't know what GLP-1 was thinking. I don't, much less your dad. But yeah, I graduated from Wheaton at the ripe age of 20 and turned 21 just in time to go be personnel director for the summer of 1975.
70. Wow. 75.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And so I did it that summer. You talk about flying by the seat of your pants. That was just walking into everything that was already established. I just, I didn't, because I didn't do any hiring. I just on that round. Everything had been done during the winter. And so I graduated in, the first week of June. The second week of June, I'm carrying this title around of personnel director. Okay.
So anything that happened after that, like, hey, listen, it wasn't my fault. I didn't know. Yeah.
I spent a lot of time reading applications of people, and just trying to get to know who was who. And
you were hiring people basically your age.
Well, they had been hired that particular year because I didn't
just managing all the issues,
right,
without the accountability of having hired them yourself.
Yeah, no, yeah. In fact, I remember. Well, I had been on staff, the previous summers, and
including as night watchman during
night watch, what you wrote about, night watchman, and I had been doing illustrious things previous, like the boat boy. The whole boat boy chapter was pretty far behind by that time,
right?
Because I had started doing other things, like driving the Utica truck, like commissary. I decided one summer I was going to do commissary because it was the freaking hardest job in the camp, and I wanted to prove, honestly, I wanted to prove to everybody that the director's son wasn't a slouch.
No, I love that because honestly, physically, that had to be. I watched. I remember, being in mom and dad's dining room and just watching those guys, carry, not. It was the canisters like we were talking about, the huge 100-pound canisters with the skinny handles of oatmeal and mashed potatoes and whatever else, and they were sweating and like thighs and everything. It was a workout.
Weren't they up before dawn too?
Was that?
Huh?
They're up before dawn, aren't they?
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. No thank you.
And then you're mopping, behind the counter after everybody's gone. And
Yep. Yeah.
And the same summer I did that, I decided I really wanted to sing in the choir. So, I was leaving commissary to go do choir practice. And yeah, and then singing on, Friday night, Saturday night concerts, and then I was driving Utica truck at the same time. That was one bodacious summer. Anyway, the whole thing was I don't know why I had such a complex about it. I guess I can call it that. But I thought, I don't want any glory here. I want to work my butt off, and everybody can understand that I'm not, I'm not.
I appreciate that.
I along for the ride.
Yeah, I appreciate that because, Yeah, when you sign up for that, it's best that you can show that, I'm here and I can just be kind of a prince and just take advantage of all the things that camp has to offer. But no, I'm gonna show that I believe in this place. I believe in my family running this place, and I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna try the hardest jobs that exist. That
Yeah.
really make
Well,
like work behind the scenes.
yeah. And speaking to, two guys who had done it, that was coming off of having been a boat boy for 4 seasons and starting at 14.
Yeah.
So, that's the background of, oh man, lush, man. You're lush.
Wait, no, you had to test those boats. You had to
Yeah.
test them.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're just reinforcing what we've been saying over the last couple episodes, that it was a great job.
it was a great job.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was personnel director stint number one, and then you went away, like you really went away.
I went to Breckenridge.
Yes.
I left camp after that summer and yeah, headed west and spent the next that year and summer and then another year out in Colorado.
Yeah.
And then
I always meant to ask you, like, why? Like, not
Yeah,
why.
did you know
It would
someone?
be great. Like, who is it that led you there, or what made you think of that place? And did you just go without any direction, or was there someone?
no, there was some convergent things that some convergent lines, I guess, that played a part. Back to Wheaton, there were guys from Wheaton that
Okay.
had a vision and went out to Colorado, to Breckenridge specifically, and bought like a dorm. It was almost a dorm. It was a place where you could go and get cheap housing, no food, just a place to sleep
Awesome.
and ski. And so, but they had a vision for starting some Christian community in the
Okay.
town of Breckenridge,
Love it.
and trying to be an influence, there. So, and plus, I had just being a late bloomer, unlike you, Donnie, who grew up on skis at Oak, but I didn't. I didn't start skiing until my sophomore year at Wheaton.
Okay. Well, I will interject here because yes, I did grow up on skis, and Grandpa taught me. And Tom, you lived in Colorado. Uncle Bob, you lived in Colorado, and it was 1989. I was a senior in college, and I've always dreamed of going there. And you made it happen. I went out there with you, and it was an amazing week. A few things happened there. I remember we went to Vale and Breckenridge, and I remember we first got there, and I looked around at the people, and they were dressed like, man, look at these people. They were the most colorful thing, and I like, do I belong here? And you were like, listen, just relax. You are going to ski circles around these people because they all came from Texas and California. And
Yeah.
just wait till you get out there. You're going to be fine. You're never going to want the trail to end. And Tom
Yeah.
said that too. And then when you said you went out there for a Christian, friends, the one trail that kicked my butt on Breckenridge was a trail called the Devil's Crotch.
Yes, I remember it too well.
Yeah,
Where,
so we're
where
like
did,
3 days into the trip, and I was crushing, and I was skiing great, and I was like, yeah, let's try that Devil's Crotch, and you're like, okay, let's do it, and we get up there, and it was just like a series of cliffs, and I ended up just taking my skis off and sliding down and like, okay, you got me. We got to the bottom and there was a lodge and they're like, I survived Devil's Crotch and
Yeah.
um, but there was for all my friends that I've skied with that saw me uh make a lot of accidents and wipe out a lot. There was the most epic wipeout of my life was on that mountain, and you witnessed it, and you were the only one that witnessed it. And I don't know if you remember it, but man, if you could possibly like back me up, I hit this jump, and it was the only head first like plant into the ground I
Oh
ever did,
no.
and I did not get injured at all. But the you were like, "Are you alive?"
Yeah,
Alive.
exactly. I thought, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Caskets and rides home. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah,
You're,
my favorite ski area is Beaver Creek. It's a little further down the road from Breckenridge and Vale. And there's a trail there called Birds of Prey, which is used, it was set up for the Olympics. Lindsey Vonn has competed there. And same thing, I'm going sideways down it to slow myself down constantly. And the thought going through my head is, she's on this trail going as fast as she can.
mhm.
Like, it isn't fast enough for her. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with people like that? There's a screw missing that you want to go so fast down this because I'm scared to death going sideways.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Do you, so, not that I skied the aptly named Devil's Crotch very much, but you have to do it, right? You live
Yeah,
out there.
gotta check that box. Right.
Yeah, you got to go down, the double blacks or, whatever. You got to, every once in a while. Some guys did them all the time, and I wasn't one of those guys. But anyway, I was trying to make a little comparison. You remember on Oak Mountain, as you looked at the layout of the mountain,
Yeah.
the only black trail. You remember that one little chute that was about like 67 and a half feet long?
Give or
Um,
take, you just threw a half foot in there. Like
you know,
you take
well,
give
it
or
was,
take, and then you throw a half foot. That's like
you,
that's
you
the
know
thing.
what I'm
I think
talking
it was
about?
the thing or Oak Mountain Run. I think there might have been two black diamonds.
Well, there was a larger, longer black diamond, but there was this one that they had listed as black
Yeah,
that if you blinked, it was done.
yeah, that was the
Do you
thing.
remember it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so here I come from Breckenridge and I'm skiing Oak Mountain and I go down that and I'm like, what?
Your heart's racing. Here we go. Ah, settle in,
Oh,
guys.
you're thinking, I used to think that was hard.
Yeah. Well, no, there was never a used to because I never skied Oak
Oh,
before 'cause I didn't grow up
yeah.
skiing there. But anyway,
I can't ski out here on the East Coast, I don't believe. I My first experience skiing Colorado, 2009, we went to A Basin, Arapahoe Basin, and that one,
yeah,
I think that one gets up above 13,000. It goes way up. And I
yeah.
think we went skiing early season, so it's probably like November, December, and got on the chairlift, and I just couldn't believe how far it went.
Yeah.
We got off, and it's just a landing area, got on another ski lift that just kept going and going and
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I knew at that moment I was probably never going to ski on the East Coast again.
Yeah, that was another thing that resonated with me too when you took me to Breckenridge and Vale, like just how long the trails were. They were miles and miles and miles. Like,
And I knew that was going to be part of your experience,
oh,
obviously.
yeah,
Oh, there's a trail at Beaver Creek, Leave the Beeve. It's 4.5 miles.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
egg burner.
So we were talking about personnel. So just as a quick overview.
yeah,
So I did 75. I did 75 and then went to Colorado and then I came back for 77. Okay. And 76, the summer of 76, was a hard one. it was kind of a difficult summer with some things that happened, and so and 77 was a hard one too. I because that 75 I just kind of got by with being a young kid relating to staff members, not thinking too much about discipline, having the best faith in people, and saying, come on, let's go. You pull it together. We can do this. You know, kind of like not a lot going on between my ears, just trying to get through it. And I was not an authoritarian. I was too much of a friend, and unfortunately, that came home to roost in 77 because there were some issues with integrity and not mine, but some of the staff members. There were some drinking issues. There were some things that had to be addressed and people that had to be sent home. And I hated every freaking minute of it.
Right.
And it undermined. I made some decisions. One in particular, with a counter girl of your mom's, interestingly enough, that really undermined, I think, my credibility with the staff at large, letting her stay. I elevated the individual and hopes for the individual over the greater good of the entire body of staff.
Wow.
Didn't know that at the time, but sure did learn it.
It's super interesting to hear what you're saying right now. And I found this to be true about myself. I always think about myself first. It's a really bad habit, but I'm going to read you some stuff later that I wrote about you. And it's from my perspective. And I never thought for a minute your journey to get to the point where you were able to provide what I needed 10 years later. And it's those experiences that you went through that, refining fire to bring you to the point where you were able to meet me exactly where I needed, Bob. That's super interesting to hear.
Yeah, it is. And not to get too far ahead of ourselves from what Tom's going to share, but when I was writing the book and I wrote the chapters about pranks, I was picturing you reading that, like, for all the things I have to deal with. And then
we make it worse
about what these scam kids were decided to prank on top of all of it. You had to just be twitching, like, are you kidding me? All I needed you to do was to show up on time and honor your commitment, but you had to go above and beyond. And I remember one particular prank that I participated in. I was talking to Bobby Ballman today by text. We didn't talk about that, but last year when I saw him for the first time in 20 years, it's one of the first things he brought up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not proud of that. And the fact that I had to put my Uncle Bob like through confronting me about that. But anyway,
which one was it?
Which one was it? I was involved in 3. I wrote about 1. I have not written about the 2 others, but
all right.
Oh, that's for another chat down the road. Sorry.
Some of them were hilarious. Some of them were just downright stupid.
Yeah. So as personnel director, you find out the next day there's a prank. What is your, like? Okay, do you investigate it yourself? Do you tell the
heck no.
counselor? Do you try to, like, you got to drill down to where it happened and deal with it? Like,
no, I'm useless in that situation. Nobody's going to talk to me.
Right.
So no, I put the troops to work, buddy.
There you go.
Starting with the head counselor, assistant counselor, and then on down the chain, and it's like you gotta drill,
Yeah,
and
because
and then you gotta tighten the screws a little bit so that those people do drill. And the interesting thing is personalities always play in. Just like me with that one instance, my personality in '77 with that instance was I came at it with too much of a pastoral heart. I wanted to help the gal, you know.
Mhm.
So that was my personality at the moment. Well, same thing happens with assistant counselors and head counselors. They have their ways, and I can remember a couple of them that would be like just chomping at the bit to get after it, man. They wanted to go find out. Like we're gonna know, And then others, I knew it was just policing was painful,
Yeah,
just painful.
sorry. Yeah,
Having to play Sherlock Holmes, you know.
yeah.
Anyway,
The nature of the job is so, you might every day you think this is what I plan to do today, but
no,
wake up
no,
in the morning and it just gets disrupted or blown up, like
yeah,
to put out a fire or play Sherlock Holmes, like you said. Uh,
yeah. Your best bet for a plan for the day was a sticky bun in the morning.
the best thing about
Sometime,
Every good day
sometime,
starts with a sticky bun, that's for sure.
yeah, and hopefully get lunch, you know,
yeah,
and then who knows by dinner time.
yeah,
Anyway,
Mm.
obviously there were plans. You had things that you had to do on certain days, but
yeah. Wow.
um, yeah,
So one quick thing, even with the pranks in the book, Bruce O'Byrne, um, obviously you like to try to figure out what happened as soon as you can, but one of the favorite stories I had was that he shared with me was he did something at the very end of the summer, silverware up in the dining hall, and then he
I
left the
remember
next
it.
day. Okay, do you? Good. And then
I
I
remember it.
to
remember.
Houghton and he found out what happened. But then it was the next year he came back for preseason, and he and you all, I think it was maybe before my time because I don't remember it, but he wrote about it, and he was telling the preseason friends about it, and as time had passed, he had forgotten, uh, obviously, that like you were right around the corner in the other room and you overheard the story. And according to him, you're like, hold on, that was you, O'Byrne?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, uh,
yeah. I wish I'd never found out. I remember.
yeah.
I remember Ken Reed. I'll
Oh,
never forget that. Yeah, you mess with my silverware.
woo. Yeah.
That's so good.
Ken Reed.
You know what the,
Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
you know what the again, just another excursion here. One of the worst pranks ever in my memory, and one that I also did not find out about until much later, which really agonized me and still ticks me off to this day. But doggone it, it was a good one. Uh,
Did it
was
involve either of us?
I know I was going
no,
to like slip out of the
no,
here.
Oh, thank
no,
goodness.
no.
All right, good.
This bordered on just downright cruel.
Oh,
Um, well, a certain a certain older at that time, he's a little older male staff member and a couple of his cronies who I don't know who they were, but I know who he was. Decided that they would capture and then release in Onondaga Lodge a whole bevy of snakes.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
no. Oh,
like
no.
a bunch of garter snakes, harmless.
How do you catch
None
all
of
of them?
I have no idea. That I never did find out. But I'm talking, there were like snakes, like almost every single room,
Ugh.
and
That's
some of them
awful.
multiple. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No, it was a really bad situation because we had to evacuate the entire darn thing. And yeah, it was like,
gosh.
you think girls are going to go back in and sleep somewhere
I
where a
wouldn't
snake
either.
has
I will
been?
admit that now.
Gosh, I was so pissed at him.
Wow.
Anyway,
All right.
that
Well,
was
we'll run out of time. I mean, we can have like 10 sessions with Bob, no doubt.